Hello, my name is Isabel and he's my partner Eduardo, and we're gonna talk about American mythology. When we talk about USA, it's a country that is located in America, just between Mexico and Canada. When we talk about United States, we all remember all the stories of cowboys fighting against the Native Americans. We think about long deserts, guns, and ladies in danger waiting for a hero for saving them. But we can't forget the sheriff riding behind the criminals. And now, how does the Native Americans came to the new life as normal people right nowadays? And here is when mythology comes to life. Obviously, we cannot talk about all the Native Americans as a bunch of people because they were really different. But we're gonna talk about different myths about different and specific tribes because we cannot compare one to other because they had different ways of living, different food, different ideology, and that's the reason the difference between myths and legends. We cannot compare one tribe that used to live in the north with a lot of cold with another that used to live, for example, in Mexico. But first, we need to specify what's a myth and what's a legend because everyone confuses the legend with the myth. A legend adds a story based on real events, and a myth is a tale that explains natural effects that seem impossible to explain in a scientific or logic way. Some elements or characteristics of myths are that they usually have a religious sense and they usually happen before humanity exists. For example, a tsunami. In that times, who can explain why does a tsunami exist? And now that we think about the mythology, we can know that they were a really important part of our culture and that explain a lot of events that happened in the past and that define us as someone in the same country or space. Our first myth takes place in Maine, one of the states that is in the north of United States. In that state, there was a lot of villages of different tribes, and that was a really good place because they was surrounded by water and was a lot of fertile land. But there was one problem. In summer was really warm and in winter was really cold. In a Logan culture, there was a myth real important named Panola that we're gonna talk now. Pamela is a legendary bird spirit that appears in the Abenaki mythology. This spirit was the cause of the cold weather. When he opened his wings, he made wind that was the cause of what the leaves go down in the autumn. And when he was angry, that normally was in wintertime, he makes snow. We can identify him because he was the protector of the mountain. And that was another reason why the Native Americans can't climb it easily. The characteristic of he was that has a head of a moose and a body as a lady and wings of an eagle. The second myths take place with the same tribe and in the same place. The Abenaki people were established in May as we know. They were a very united tribe and they used to call themselves the real people. This was really close to the Iroquois tribe and they used to exchange goods and move one place to another. When the English people came to conquer, they moved to Canada to exchange money and goods with the French people. Some of the gods they shared was Panola, Sigan, and Tabalnak. That was the main. The second myth takes place before all the humanity exists. Tabalnak was a god that created all the living things but one. First he created people out of stones, but they had the heart too cold. Then he tried with wood. The result of these new people were the Abenaki, and they established it in Maine, in United States. The other thing Tabernacle never did was the other brother. His name was Otsinomo, and he was the spirit that created the Lake Champlain. He was so proud of his work that he became stone. Now we're gonna travel to the southeastern woodlands. The first Native Americans used to live in the middle of the danger. We need to remember that at that time there was not enough technology like nowadays, and we needed to figure out how to survive in the middle of the woodlands. The tribes that we can find there are Apalachee, Pacara, and Bayogula. This myth is really common in the tribes of the Goodlands, and it explains why some people are stronger or better in some aspects than the others. And normally, the ones who are the strongest are the leaders of the tribe. The third myth takes place in a little lake in the middle of the Goodlands. The serpent is one of the most powerful and dangerous creatures in all the East. This serpent owns a diamond that humans wish, and the only one who takes it will be the most powerful person in all the tribe. The only way to have the diamond was to kill the serpent, who was trained to kill humans. The tribes that used to live in the Great Plains in the USA are the ones that we can see in the movies of cowboys and Indians. Normally, the tribes that lived there were nomadics. That means that they moved from one way to another, chasing animals, food, and good weather. Because of their location, they were not the only tribe that lived there, and they share with other tribes cultural and spiritual connections, such as the way of dressing, like the big plums in their head and the buffalo skin. And also, they used to smoke different types of tobaccos and mushrooms to contact with their spirits and God. They also used to believe in little humans, kind of fairies and spirits, as same as they help to humans to grow. This myth is named the Chrome Maturation. Buck's power is a spiritual power that can cause person grow into an adult. This power owns two Manegeshi that are little people with large and pretty eyes and tiny bodies. They normally play with kids since they do their first steps until they turn into teenagers, depending of the little people or the Manegeshi and the kid is the time they stay as a children. Normally, people can identify the Cherokee tribes in Alabama, Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. But when the English people came, they needed to emigrate to Oklahoma. The Cherokees are one of the 5 civilized tribes in all North America. This is one of the tribes that nowadays we can still see in the USA, because when the British came to conquer, they immediately pact with them that they will continue following their traditions and ceremonies. Even with that, the Cherokees took part in the USA society to their days, working and studying like teachers, scientists, and normal people. Now in this myth, we're gonna talk about the Cherokee visions. Have you ever had a dream? Have you ever thought why you dream? Well, maybe the Cherokees can give you an idea. Ghosts and spirits appear into the dream of a good man and woman, and they guide them to their destiny and help them to teach the rest of the tribe. For the bad man, the spirits send them nightmares with the biggest fears. Some Cherokee tribes used to say that that was a present of the evil. As you can see, myths can be found in all around the world, and in case of the Native Americans, we can talk about a culture formed at the same time by different cultures, each one with their own complex. As a consequence of myths, the Americans could understand the world and how it used to work. For example, the fire. First, they thought it was a present from the gods, and now they know that is a chemical reaction. We think that the USA myths characteristics are that almost all of them happened in the same time of the Native Americans, because after that people start emigrate to the country. A lot of the myths are repetitive because most of the tribes were nomadic and they share a lot of ideology. And the mythology is polytheistic because all the characters appear more than one god or spirit. If we talk about the elements of the mythology, we can note that most of the characters are fictional and they explain in a logical way the nature facts that now we see in a scientific way. Well, that's what we needed to say. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And you can check our reference in our booklet. Thank you. Have a nice day.